Now, did you see the movie Backbeat? The movie Backbeat had come out. You saw that. What did you think of it? Was it a proper portrayal of the group at that time?
No. I think what you've got is that it was. I think the publicity put it out. The story of the five lads in Hamburg. If you look at it, the music score was brilliant. Okay, that captured, you know, this great rock and roll band, this powerhouse rock and roll savage music, right? If you looked at Backbeat, it was the love story between Astrid Kirchen and Stu, right? We were just characters in the background, making up numbers, right? But, you know, it was like everything else. You know, they took artistic license with it. There were a couple of things which we laughed at, and a couple of things which we cried at, okay? But at the end of the day, it was, you know, it was good humour, it was entertainment, and the soundtrack was brilliant.
Right, absolutely. Another question from the audience. Let's take one from...
Right here, on the corner, right here.
Where?
In blue. Or unless you yell.
Person right there in blue, there we go. I couldn't see from behind.
Come on up. State your name.
My name is Sophia.
Sophia.
This is kind of a stupid question, but I want to know who's your favorite Beatle? Who are you closest to in the band?
My favourite Beatle? Okay. John.
Why?
Why? Okay, the first time I met John was when he opened my mother's club, the Casbah, okay, back in 1959. And the first time I met him, I liked his image, right? I liked his sense of humour. I liked his sideburns. I liked the baseball boots he was wearing. And I got on well with him. Little did I know, 12 months down the line, I would be part of this incredible band, right? Going to Hamburg, right? And while we were in Hamburg, okay, we used to drink a lot, right? It's a standard habit, you know, with Liverpool lads. But, you know, John and I were normally the last men standing at the bar. Just like I was last night. And it was very much a case of, you know, when you're in a melancholic state, okay, you start, you know, being very sentimental and talking about things. And from a very early age, I suddenly realised that John, on the other side, which the public didn't see, the very tender and loving side. So you put those two together, okay, the caustic with the rose, and the loving. He's my man.
He's my favorite too.
Okay.
What's your name, by the way?
Yoshi.
Okay, Yoshi.
Question. Could you give us all the songs you sang in Hamburg yourself?
Well, I know you sang in Hamburg.
Yeah, like I know that Ringo sang like Boys and things like that. Did you sing actually?
I sang Matchbox, Rose Grows Wild in the Country.
Okay. Wow.
Peppermint Twist.
Oh yes, I know that. check later. Check.
And what else? I joined in a couple of harmonies. Okay, but they were my three main ones.
Three things. Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's very important. I always wanted to know. I was a big fan of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Was that a situation, Pete, were you behind the drum set and singing, or did you actually get up and one of the other guys got behind the kit?
Go on. Innermost secrets, right?
Is there any tapes of you singing? That's what we want to hear now.
Matchbox, I stayed behind the drum kit. Right? The Rose Grows Wild in the Country, I got up on the front of the stage.
Ah.
To lure the girls?
What?
To lure the girls?
No. And Peppermint Twist, I got up on the front of the stage and I danced and did the twist.
All right.
We will not be asking you to do the twist now.
You did. Paul would be on the drums. And Paul will be on the drums. There we go.
Yes. Your name?
Hello, I'm Jeff from Washington, Silver Spring area in Maryland. I wanted to ask you about the first session. Of course, this would have been the EMI session, which of course became the last session. But can you just tell me if you had any straight dealings, or did you talk at all with George Martin at all at any point after the session was over? Did he say anything to you, you know, in terms of how he felt? Because of course, I know at the time they were ready to go forward, but he had said pretty much we have to change the drummer, and I'm just wondering, did he ever talk to you at any point, like after the sessions, and just discuss, this is why we have to go this way, or was there anything?
I'll clear that up. Okay. I'll clear this one. After the session, what was said was that he wanted to use a session drum, right? And what people don't know about in those days, a lot of bands that were recorded, they used session drums. Okay, what happened in studio, just the sheer economics of it, didn't affect what happened on stage, right? So they used a session drummer on the record, live drummer or guitarist, whatever the case might be, would be used on stage. George Martin, because I had such a big drum sound, and we'd only been, the EMI for a couple of hours, throwing down a couple of tracks, still had a problem as regards how he was going to capture my drum sound. Okay, it was such a big drum sound. So initially he suggested, as he'd done in the past with many bands, use a session drum. Right? Don't split the band up, because they realised what an integral part of the band beat is on stage. Right? So that's what he meant. Now we clarified this, because after my dismissal we went back to George Martin, because George Martin kept getting the flak for it. It was George Martin saying that to get rid of it. Right. And he explained the situation. What had happened was, as I explained then, he wanted to use a session drummer, so he basically, worked out what drum sound I was going to have. And in view of the fact that this was going on behind closed doors, they used that as the excuse to get me out and Ringo in. So that clears up the misconception about George Martin kicking me out the band.
Yeah, and just to add some weight to that, what many folks don't realize when you flip over and look in the back of your Byrds records and your Beach Boys records and your Mamas and Papas records, and then, Dennis Wilson or no Dennis Wilson, there's also the likes of Hal Blaine playing drums on most of those early Beach Boys tracks and Byrds tracks and Mamas and Papas tracks. So that practice that Pete's talking about bringing a studio drummer in to replace whoever was generally the live drummer in the group was something that went on well into the late 60s. So that's something that, again, if anyone's unfamiliar with that practice, it was very common.
Can you tell us a little bit about recording Love Me Do, because we've heard it on the anthology, and you said you had a big sound, but it doesn't come off as a big sound on that track that we hear.
You got to remember it wasn't an audition, we'd already got the contract, even though the misconception now is they turn out it was an audition. We'd already signed the contract. That was the 6th of June. Again, we were just given a sample of what we wanted to do, so they weren't spending a lot of time getting the sound. It was a hearing, okay, it was a soundboard for them. And I think they listened to it, and one of the problems was they could not get the big drum sound, right, which happened on stage. If you listen to it,
yeah. That sounds kind of tinny.
That illustrates.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were throwing something down, they needed to work on it to get a bigger sound.
But yet you do hear, again, those of you folks who want to go and chase some of those interesting recordings that pop up here and again on the internet, you can hear some of the BBC tracks that you performed on shows like Teenagers Turn and things like that. You were, present for those first BBC performances, and you can hear the big drum sound. Yeah. Definitely in those BBC performances. So let's take one more question.
One more question for Pete.
This gentleman right here. There's someone back there. Maybe we'll make that our last question.
I state your name.
Hi Pete, welcome to DC. My name is Jason from Alabama.
Thank you.
Alright, during the height of Beatlemania in the psychedelic 60s, that was just the craziness of it all. Did you keep in touch with any of the Beatles?
No. I played, after my dismissal, I joined a band called Lee Curtis and the All Stars. And it was very much a case of we came second to them in the Merseybeat poll, and that was as close as we could get to the Beatles in those days, right? I mean, they were 1 and we were number 2. But I think the point I was making, we played on the same bill as them about 3 or 4 times, right? We were support bill to them all the time, so it meant that as we were coming off stage, they were going off stage, right? And as I'm going off stage, right, John, Paul, George, and Ringo coming on stage, right? No acknowledgement, no words, okay, no glances, no how are you doing or anything like that. it's just like ships in the night, right? And basically from that day to this, you know, they've gone their way and I've gone mine. What we've now got is a situation where there's only 2 original people playing, okay, which is Paul and myself. And a third member, which is Ringo Starr, who was original in his own mind, but not original in my mind, okay? So, you know, we're not getting any younger, right? You know, we're all approaching the 70. You know, it's soon going to be upon us. And I think it'd be nice, you know, Paul, if we can, or myself, you know, if we could get together, not to talk about something which, you know, what did you kick me out about? Who the hell wants to know now, you know, 50 odd years afterwards? I don't, right? Paul knows, and he won't tell me anyway, so, you know, it's a foregone conclusion. But it'd be nice just to meet up with him, okay? Laugh and joke, you know, we've got our own children, we've got our own grandchildren. Talk about the fun we had in those days, you know, and the fun that we're having now, right? We haven't got many more years left on the planet. I hope I have, but, you know, it'd be nice to basically, you know, meet him up and, you know, meet with him, have a laugh and a joke. Whether it's public, whether it's private, who cares, right? But it'd be nice to do before we actually...
I think we have the makings of a Facebook page.
There's a Facebook campaign for you folks, if I've ever heard one.
I've got to ask you, I always wanted to know, since you were just talking about it, were you aware of the whole hubbub with, you know, Ringo Never, Pete Forever? Were you like saying, good on you fans, you know, I mean, were you saying like, there you go, you know? Not that it was an outward thing, but inside, did you say, well, I've got a lot of really loyal fans and, you know, this is the way it should be?
It was great. I mean, it was also fantastic when George got a black eye. Right? But I couldn't smile. Right? No, joking aside. It was great, the loyal fan base that I had, you know, the demonstrations that they did, you know, the riots in Matthew Street, the placards, you know, Pete Forever, Ringo Never. Very heartwarming. Okay, the loyalty was there. Deep down inside, I knew that, you know, yes, there was a, you know, great show of patriotism, loyalty towards Pete. I think I knew, right, that once that deed had been done, once Ringo had been accepted into the band, it wasn't going to change. Okay, so the demonstrations were wonderful, you know, they had my interest at heart. They thought that they were going to change things. Deep down inside, my heart was telling me, lovely to see that reaction. It's not going to change anything. But, you know, thank you anyway.
Pete, I have a question. John's house is part of the National Trust in Great Britain. Paul's house, I believe, is also. Is the Casbah part of the National Trust yet in Great Britain? And the other question is, if someone were to go to the Casbah, what is there that's still original from the house? Because it was your house, right? It's hard to believe it's your actual house. You live.
Who's been to the Casbah? Right, okay. First question. Yes, it is now a historical monument. Okay? It is a great national heritage. Okay, it's a great two-listed building. It's the only music historical building that's still remaining in its total entirety in Liverpool, and that's why we got national heritage. It's a national heritage site. The Casbah, the people who've been there, has its own atmosphere, right? You've got to be there to feel it, okay? When there's a band playing, it comes out. People that have been there will know the fact that, okay, it still stands as it did, you know, when it closed its doors in 1962. And the work that the boys did, right? We've got John's hashtag ceiling, which is still there, right? We've got Paul's rainbow ceiling, which is still there in the alcove where they first played, as the Quarrymen. We've got the stars in the actual Casbah bar itself, which were painted by George, John, Paul, Cynthia, Ken Brown, myself. There's the spider's web, which I put up. There's the caricature of John over the fireplace, which Cynthia Lennon painted. So it's there, right? It is a historical museum. And for those of you who haven't been, get there. For those of you who have been, come back many, many more times. We'd love to see you again.
Well, I think we probably have to begin wrapping up this session with Pete Best.